Well, it's been over a month since I posted my last YouTube video. Honestly, I just lost momentum, really is what it comes down to. I was just starting to find a really good rhythm for myself, posting 3 videos a week, and I was feeling really good about this. And then that motivation and excitement just kind of started to slip a little bit. At first, it was just natural. I wasn't seeing a lot of growth yet, which is totally expected in the beginning, but I was starting to notice those thoughts starting to creep in. What if I'm wasting my time? What if I'm doing all the wrong things? I knew these were pretty normal thoughts for new creators, but I mean, to be completely honest, it was just really affecting my motivation. Now, I know better than to actually let this stop me. Like, I get nothing works until you get good, and you don't get good until you do the work. So I knew better than to just stop. But even with this mindset and understanding that, it still had an underlying effect on my motivation and just what I was doing. And then, life happened amongst this. I got distracted. And to be honest, I really got caught up in all of the news and everything with Charlie Kirk. I just really got wrapped up in all of that. And I started to use that as an excuse. I told myself that I'd give myself a break and just take the next 2 weeks to kind of like slow down, get reorganized, make a plan, and get ahead. That's what I was telling myself. But I didn't consider the fact that my kids would be on fall break for 2 weeks, and I had 3 birthdays just in this last month that were either family or close friends, and just added to all the distractions and just lifing, it just happens. I know it's my mindset, and getting back into that motivation is really ultimately, it just means getting out of my comfort zone. And that's really what it comes down to. But the truth is, my struggles are not unique. These are just really common things that new creators go through. So I thought I would share some of the things that I have learned either through experience or heard from other creators. These are 7 mindset shifts and habits that I'll be working on going forward. They're not things that I'm great at, but they are things that I know to do and I need to be working on. And I just thought that I would share because that's what's on my mind. I thought it was a great next video to get me going again. So the first thing is that really stood out to me over the last couple of years. I started posting on Instagram. That's where I started a couple of years ago. And I got an Instagram coach, and I told him that it takes me a couple of hours just to do a reel because I don't know what I'm doing, and it's very uncomfortable, and I create it and then I recreate it and I re-record it and I go through all these steps. And he's like, why in the world is it taking you so long? It should not take you more than eventually it shouldn't take you more than a few minutes, but it really shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes. And so what he explained was Parkinson's law. So Parkinson's law is work expands to fill the time that you give it. So if you say you're going to take a week to do this project, it's going to take you a week to do the project. But if you tell yourself, I'm going to get this done in 1 hour, you're going to figure out how to get it done in that hour. You remember back in high school when you were given an assignment, maybe a big project, so you had a week to do it, and you waited until the night before the project was due to even start, or maybe even the morning of. You still got it done, but you waited until the very last minute to get it done. Or maybe you have company coming in a couple of hours, and you know that you have to get the living room picked up. You don't want them to walk into the middle of all your chaos, but you have to get the living room cleaned before they come. But you have a couple of hours to do it. So you kind of push it off, or you get distracted and taking your time doing it, whatever. And then they text you and they say, we'll be there in 10 minutes. And then you're like, oh no. And well, let's just say 10 minutes later, your living room is very clean. Cleaner than you realize you can make it in that 10 minutes. You had a couple of hours to do it, but it only took you 10 minutes to get it done. So putting this into practice, what my coach was explaining to me was that you keep telling yourself you have a couple of hours to do it. And so you're recording it, and then you don't like the recording. So then you re-record it, and then you re-record it again, and then you re-record it. And then Once you finally get something that's semi-decent, then you put the text on the screen, and then you don't like the text, so then you change the text, and then you don't like the caption, and you change the caption, and you go through all these steps that are not necessary. And so what happens is when you tell yourself, I'm going to get it done in 30 minutes, you're just going to pick an idea that you know you can get done in 30 minutes, and you're going to make something work, and you're going to get it done in 30 minutes. And it may not be perfect, but when you're in the beginning of your journey, nothing's going to be perfect. And probably nobody's even going to see it in the beginning. So who cares? Who cares how imperfect it is? Because if you get in the routine of just doing the dang thing, not only is it going to get faster because you get better at it, but you're also kind of going to get to know yourself of like what you like and what you don't like, and you're going to get on track. You're just going to get better at it, and your content is going to get better as you just keep posting. And so it's okay if it's not perfect. Don't re-record it. Maybe you re-record it a second time because it was really bad the first time. But whatever you do, don't record it more than 2 times. You can make it work in a lot less time than you realize. Give yourself less time and just know that it's not going to be perfect, and you'll get it done in less time. That's the first thing. The next thing is starting small. I jumped in knowing that 3 videos a week it's realistic, but just really thinking about this, fitting it in with the rest of my schedule. You know, I've got 4 kids, and then we do homework at night, and I'm still working and taking care of my body and working out and just all of the things. I'm finding that because the only time I have, because of my job and everything, the only time I have is during the time that I already feel worn out in the day. Instead of making myself keep telling myself, oh, well, doing 3 videos a week is really not that hard, I just need to be real with myself and start smaller. Because when you start smaller, you start to build those habits, and you start to build a foundation, and you get better at the smaller things. And then so when you start growing, then the more you do later on, it doesn't feel as hard. I don't really enjoy batching content. I've heard so many times that when you batch content, it's so much easier. And it makes sense, because writing a script is a whole different skill and mindset than getting on camera and recording yourself. And so when you have one day where you record everything, you're setting up your camera and you're doing your hair all beautifully and putting on a nice shirt or whatever it is that you do for your content, like you're in that mode. And so it makes sense that I would do all of the recording in one day, which means I have to have all of the scripting done in a different day. But what I was finding doing 3 videos a week is that I don't like making myself do 3 whole different topics, even if they were like flowing together. And then waiting until the day that I record, I have to go back to the first script. Like, I'm still thinking about the 3rd script because that was the last thing I was thinking about. And so I just don't like that mindset. But if I get better at it, with 1 video a week, get to a point where I'll get so good at doing 1 video a week that I can expand to 2 videos a week. Or maybe I'll just do 1 longer video a week. I don't know, but whatever the case is, I just need to start small and build that foundation of the smaller steps before I can move on to the next bigger steps. And I'm finally okay with that. And another thing that I have learned as well that I think is really cool, that I sort of already do, but I don't really have a lot of space to do more than what I'm currently doing. But I just really wanted to share this. When you set up a specific area for your focus time, then every time you go and sit in that spot, your brain kind of automatically triggers, oh, this is where we go to focus. And so I have my desk here where I do all of my scripting and writing and trying to focus when my kids aren't screaming in my face. But I also work in this space, and I'm kind of like looking around and thinking like I do a lot of things in this space. But if you are able to create a specific area, that's why a lot of people do reading nooks and stuff, because when you go and sit in that area, it's like your brain is like, yes, this is where we go and we sit and relax and read. And I just think that whole idea of making a trigger, intentionally creating a trigger for your brain to say, okay, we're going to focus right now, I just think that's really cool. The next thing is making it exciting again. When I first got started, the idea was really exciting and I was able to jump into it. I heard a podcaster, and I wish I could remember his name, but he's talking about how when you reward yourself, it kind of triggers dopamine in your brain. Okay? That's how we're supposed to use dopamine. And when he was talking about it, I think he was working with a client, and he said it was funny because he said, I would go and post a reel, and as soon as I got done posting the reel, I would go in the mirror and put myself up and I would say, yeah, we did it, or whatever it was that he said in the mirror. He just got really excited about it. And he said he didn't realize it at the time, but he was triggering dopamine in the, I don't know what you call that, but he's making dopamine in his brain. And I was like, that's really cool. I have spent a lot of my life telling myself, well, I should just do the right thing and not feel like I needed rewarded for it. And so I really shut that part of my brain off. And I can't believe, looking back on it, that I was really hurting myself doing that. And so when you get excited and you treat something as a game and you have some kind of reward, even if it's as simple as, yes, I did it. But there's something about looking in the mirror and like telling yourself, I did it. Like, this is exciting. I love this. And it does something to your nervous system where it's like, oh, that was a good thing. We need to do that again. And so there's something about actually making it exciting again that makes it feel, you kind of like create an addiction around it. And so that is something I'm going to be working on as well. It does just naturally, just posting something feels really good in itself, but I want to really dive into that a lot more of like, this is exciting. And I really love that. So number 5 is just simply believing it will work. When you believe that your effort will pay off, it's very energizing. When you don't feel like something is going to work, it's very draining. It's very draining. And I think about if somebody was writing a book, they're spending all this time, maybe it's been taking them a couple of years to write this book, and there's not really like an end time of when they're going to finish the book. But then a publisher comes to you and says, I know who you are, I've been listening to you, I know what your book is about, and I'm really excited about it. If you get it done in a month, there's that Parkinson blog, and if you get it done in a month, then I'll guarantee you sell 100,000 copies or whatever, I don't know. Whatever the guarantee is, if you know that in a month you're going to have a big result that's very exciting, you're going to get it done in a month. So it's Parkinson's law, making it exciting. But then that belief starts to energize. You were just told that you were guaranteed this result, and so now you believe, because you were just told that it's going to work. You're going to be very energized to get that work done in a month. Finding evidence of other people that are like you on YouTube or whatever business it is that you want to do, or whatever it is that you're going to do, find the evidence that it does work for other people and start building that belief in yourself and what you're doing. Find evidence that somebody like you used to think that only blonde-haired, gorgeous women are successful at that, or something like that. Like, go find somebody that has the same color hair as you, that is working for them, so you can tell yourself, oh, this is gonna work even if I have dark hair. I don't know, that's just a super random idea thought that came to my mind right now. But whatever it is, if you believe it works or it will work for you, that will be very energizing. I'm working on just that belief in myself that no matter what, I am who I am because I was created to be me, only me, not somebody else. Whatever limiting beliefs I have, I just have to put that aside. I have to believe that it's going to work, and that is so much more energizing. The last 2 kind of go together. Number 6 is getting comfortable being seen, and number 7 is just to focus on my growth. So in the process of all of this, my goal is just to get comfortable. I am recording videos without even thinking about whether I'm going to get views or likes or shares or whatever goes into all that. I just need to get comfortable being on camera and being seen and being okay with that. Just being okay with who I am and the way that I talk, and the fact that I still need a script right now to not lose myself in all of my thoughts and go off on a tangent, which I'm doing anyway. But I just need to get comfortable being on camera. I need to get good before I can be expected to blow up and go viral. Or my goal isn't even to go viral, but I just have to get comfortable being on camera and focus on my own growth. It's more important for me to just continue working on myself and then sharing along the way than to be worrying about being great and perfect and trying to get all of my videos out to go viral right away. The more important thing is just to get comfortable with what I'm doing and really focus on my own growth. If you've fallen off track ever, whether it's on YouTube or the gym or anything else, it's totally normal. We all go through this at some point. And I love this phrase I've heard over and over. You can't steer a parked car, but once you're moving again, even a little, it starts to get easier. You start to build up that motivation and that momentum, and then you can start to steer the car again. You can't steer a parked car. So don't wait for the perfect motivation. Just start with a small step. If you've ever felt stuck or lost momentum, let me know in the comments. Let's get restarted again together. And I would love to know, what is one small step that you are taking this week to get momentum back?